South Africans are notoriously bad at saving, which leads to many people not being able to retire comfortably. Some studies estimate that only 6% of South Africans can retire comfortably. Joining us in studio to explain why you shouldn't delay saving for retirement is Rupert Giessing. He's the director at Vista Wealth Management. A very good afternoon to you, Rupert. So why are South Africans so bad at saving?
You know, it was one of the first things that we asked ourselves when we started doing the research for this article, and I think it's basically twofold. If you look at a study that was published by the World Bank recently for 2013 and 2014, it was actually 86% of South Africans that were in a position to borrow money actually did. And they borrowed mainly for two reasons. First reason being to put food on the table, and the second reason actually to maintain a lifestyle. Because unfortunately we do live in a society where people are very much, it's very much about status and keeping up with the Joneses. So unfortunately, it actually creates a bit of a snowball effect, because the people that are in a position to save are actually not saving either, which just, it just makes the problem even worse.
What are some of the biggest mistakes would you say people are making when it comes to retirement savings?
I think one of our biggest challenges is we've got a very high employment rate, and also people don't tend to work in the same job for as long as they used to in the past. So as soon as people can access their retirement benefits from a previous employer, they do that, and it doesn't get preserved. And the longer you delay that, the worse the problem gets, because people might be in a certain position for 2 or 3 years, and then they move on and they take the money and they cash in and they keep on doing that. And then they wake up again one day and they're 10 years away from retirement and they haven't actually saved anything. I think that is one of our biggest challenges.
I hear this a lot, and young people that you speak to all of the times always say, well, I've got plenty of time to catch up on retirement. Explain why this is not necessarily the case and why it doesn't sound so easy.
It's actually quite simple. And Albert Einstein once said, the eighth wonder of the world is actually the power of compounding. And those that understand it earn it, and those that don't pay it. And it is actually as simple as that. And the sooner that you start saving, the better. For our research in the article, we actually did a little exercise, and we looked at two scenarios. So we took somebody that started saving at the age of 20 up to the age of 40. Started off with 5,000 Rand a month, and we just increased it by 6% per year, the savings contribution. Person then stopped saving at the age of 40, just left the capital until the age of 60. The other individual didn't save anything up to the age of 40 and then started saving up to 60. For the first person that left the capital from 40 to 60, the savings amount was approximately 33 million Rand that you get to at the end of the day. The second person, that actually his starting amount to get to that same amount was 33,000 Rand a month. So that just gives you an idea of the power of compounding and how much catching up you have to do to get to that same. That's obviously in nominal terms, but even if you're going to relate it back to real terms, you're still going to be in a position where you're going to have to save more than double than the person that started early and just left the money. So can you imagine where you would be if you actually just saved your money from 20 up to the age of 60?
So the longer wait, the more pain you're going to feel. But
Absolutely.
Is there some sort of a rough guide as to how we can start saving enough for retirement?
The thing is, the important thing there is people have to actually, you have to have a goal, and you have to decide, where you want to end up, and you have to look at your time horizon. So you have to be in a position where you're going to say you're going to have to do some proper financial planning, whether you sit down with a financial planner to assist you with this, or if you have the skill and ability to do it yourself, you're going to have to do the math. So you're going to have to say, I'm happy to retire, for example, if you are 30 years old and you want to retire when you're 60. I've got 50 years to save, and I'm happy to retire with 50% of my current salary. So if you just go and do a little bit of math and you see what kind of capital you need now in order to sustain that salary now, and you grow that forward by inflation for 30 years, that will give you an idea of where you have to be. But unfortunately, it's not going to just be a thumb suck. The days are over where we just put money away and we hope for the best and see that, and try and hit the jackpot at the end of the day. You actually have to have a proper financial plan in place. track that and try and keep with that and see and how far you are away from your objectives.
We know that some people have the luxury of their companies providing a pension as well as provident funds. Let's say your company doesn't provide a pension and provident fund. What are some other savings vehicles that would you recommend in order for someone to go ahead and start saving towards retirement?
You know, one of the best savings vehicles for that purpose is still a retirement annuity, and especially with the changes in legislation last year that lump pension funds, provident funds and retirement annuities together, where you can actually now save 27.5% of your taxable or your gross salary on an annual basis. It's still the ideal vehicle to save for retirement, because you still, I mean, you get the tax benefit of the tax deduction and all the money that you're putting away and saving, all of that still grows at a tax-free rate as well. And if you just continue, like even with the tax saving that you're getting at the end of the year, if you keep on investing that, all of that money is just going to keep on compounding and, you know, ensuring that you're getting to a point where you are providing sufficient cover for your retirement. And of course, the other thing is, great initiative that was launched last year is tax-free savings accounts. Yeah. So if you've topped up on your retirement annuity, you know, that's the ideal vehicle to save more, especially if you think at the rising costs of medical expenses. And as you're getting older, that rise, you know, that just keeps on getting more expensive. So a tax-free savings account, if you save there, you can draw an additional income there one day when you retire, which is, you know, the ideal vehicle to finance your medical expenses.
We'll have to leave it there. Well, South Africans, go ahead and save, save, save. That was Rupert Giessing, Director at Vista Wealth Management.